Hi everyone, my name is Emily Neiswanger. I am a registered dietitian and I'm welcomed here by Ashley Oswald, a fellow dietitian as well. Ashley is a digestive health expert and she is going to teach me, the meal prep, hands-on cooking expert, how to make fermented foods today. And the reason that we're doing this is because we know that almost 70% of our immune system lies in our digestion tract. So in our gut is what we call it. And so we wanted to talk about fermented foods as a way to boost your immune system and keep it strong all through this season, and so that we can stay healthy. So Ashley, what are we making today?
Today we're going to be making fermented carrots with, Emily is going to be adding ginger, which is really great for gut health too, very anti-inflammatory. But if you wanted to use dill or hot peppers, you can use anything else that you would prefer. So basically we're fermenting carrots with some sort of a spice to it.
Yes, awesome. So you had me go out and get, let me show everybody, carrots and ginger. So I have them on my cutting board in front of me here. So ginger, ginger root, if you're not familiar with it. So it literally looks like a wrinkled up root from the ground, and I have it just roughly chopped. And then I also have some whole carrots. I don't grate my carrots, so I just have a whole carrot there that I've sliced up into tiny little coins. And so I'm ready for you to teach me how to do this. What should I do next?
Perfect. So Emily has a big carrot, about 2.5 cups of carrot. We'll see what it comes out to, but just slice those however you want the final product to be, the carrots, and then put them in a bowl. And we're going to put some salt on top of the carrots and then rub the salt into the carrots, which is going to cause some of that fluid from the carrots to come out. So the carrots are going to like sweat is what we can say. And then after the carrots have sweated and they're kind of swimming in some of their own juices, okay, that's perfect. So we're going to do carrot rings. So about a teaspoon of salt.
I want to share with everybody the type of salt that I use because I think it's kind of important. This is this salt is called, I have a bag here actually. It's called Redmond's Real Salt. I think you use this one too, right, Ash?
Yeah, I do.
So this one's from the Salt Flats in Utah, and it has these beautiful minerals in it. You can see the color is pink, and then it clearly has, you can see all the different colors of the other minerals that are in there other than just the sodium. And what I love about this is that there's really no concern about there being microplastics from sea salt, so in the ocean with plastic contamination. So that is why I always choose to use this salt. They sell it at our co-op in bulk, but you can also order it like on Amazon in that size bag. And then we just tend to refill like a little mason jar so we can keep it on our countertop.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I just want our viewers to know too that if you don't have this salt, you don't need to go out and get this salt before you can ferment vegetables at home. Any salt will do, but just when you run out of whatever you're using right now, this might be a great option to switch to, since as Emily mentioned, it doesn't have that contamination that some of the other salts might have.
Yep. Okay, so I'm getting the salt on all of the different pieces.
Perfect. And we're using carrots, you guys, because the root vegetables tend to ferment the best and have like a nice crunch to them afterwards. And we just thought carrots is a really popular vegetable. So if you have a different type of root vegetable sitting in your fridge, you want to give this a try right away, totally go for it.
Yeah, I actually, when we discussed doing this, it was actually one of my requests because that's one of my favorite. I've shared with my my followers about one of my favorite fermented foods is gingered carrots, and this is the one they sell at my co-op, and it's local. But this jar cost me almost $8, and it's the same size as the mason jar we're going to be using today. And so for buying a couple carrots, using the salt, and then it's just going to be water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
it's definitely under $2. It'd be less than $2 if you could buy even less expensive carrots. So that's That's why I made Ashley teach me how to do the gingered carrots because it's one of my personal favorites. So, okay, so I think I have the salt on all of the coins here. How
Right.
long should I do this for if I ideally had the time?
So if you had the time, I would just keep rubbing it in until the carrots are swimming in enough fluid that fills up like a good amount of the jar. It's really like fermentation, it's half science, half art. So
Mm.
this side is just the art of it. So try to have fun with it, you guys. It doesn't have to be as perfect as it might seem. And at the end, it'll tell you like the one thing that you're going to want to make sure to do, but everything else it's going to be okay. So I'd say give it a few minutes and then put it into the jar and we'll talk about the next step.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about probiotics in the gut? Like why, I mean, how do we how do we know that's important and like what are we trying to achieve here with eating fermented foods?
Yeah, so we have this whole microbiota, this community of these bacteria, these fungi, these viruses. Actually, we have just viruses in our gut and they're supposed to be there. And it all works together. So it's the balance. And we want to have a diverse amount of bacteria species that's been tied to good health. And these fermented foods allow us to get some of those bacteria into our gut to help keep it thriving and healthy. And so if somebody isn't struggling with a specific disease or issue, what I usually say is try to get your bacteria from fermented foods because a few things, but it's an easier way to do it than having to buy a supplement all the time. And then also when you're eating fermented foods like fermented vegetables, you're also going to be getting some prebiotics in that, which is food for the probiotics.
Ah, that's awesome. I always explain the prebiotics as like probiotics are almost like your seeds, like for flowers you want to plant, and then your prebiotics is the fertilizer and water for the garden, right? Is that a good way to think about it?
I think that's a great way to think about it. I love that. And just to give a little comparison, so probiotic supplements tend to have in the billions of bacteria, but just a tablespoon of like a fermented vegetable, like what Emily showed you, her jar of already made carrots and ginger, that has in the trillions. So you're really getting a lot more bang for your buck too.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited to be able to make these at home. I mean, I'm all about supporting local, but if I can make them at home every once in a while too and save a trip to the grocery store and also then kind of play around with the flavor of the way that I like them, I think that's really cool. And it also gives people the opportunity because I don't know many grocery stores that carry fermented foods, especially in rural areas where I grew up. So this is a nice option if you don't have them in your grocery store. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, it makes for really great gifts as well, like affordable, good gift ideas, because you're really putting your kind of heart and time into it as well. And I think people value those sorts of gifts nowadays.
love that idea. What a great idea. Okay, so they are sweaty. That's super weird. I did not think that they would just get wet.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of salt in there, and they are, let's see if you can kind of see them glisten a little bit. So yeah, they're good. And so what am I going to do now? I want to shove them in my mason jar.
Yep, that's it. Fill the mason jar up and leave like a little bit of space because, yep, perfect. Because the one thing that I mentioned earlier that is kind of like a foundational rule to fermenting vegetables is you just always want to make sure they're submerged under the water. So whatever you need to do to make sure they stay under the water is really important because otherwise if they're touching the air, then you're going to get mold growing on your fermented vegetables and that mold can ruin the ferment.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Okay, so I'm throwing some ginger in here too. And I didn't salt that and sweat it out. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay because it's going to turn into a salty brine and it's all going to just continue that fermentation.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. I got my ginger here. I'll top it off there. And then, okay, how
And
much water do I want to do? Sorry, just until it's submerged.
yeah, and if you have some extra fluid in your bowl, go ahead and pour that on top too. So if you guys were to rub that salt into the carrots longer, like say a half hour, it's going to be really swimming in its own juices, and make sure to pour that juice on top of the carrots in the jar.
Okay, so how important do you think it is to use a filtered water versus something that's chlorinated?
I would opt for the non-chlorinated water if you're able to, but Sandor Kotz, so he's kind of the master of fermentation. He has this amazing giant book on the art of fermentation. If you guys all love this and want to learn more, he ferments like everything in this book. And so he says, really, whatever water is going to be fine, whatever salt's going to be fine, you're going to be able to ferment. However, there's, it'll work, but then there's kind of like optimal what would be best. And what would be best is like the salt you described, and then also the non-chlorinated water.
Awesome. Okay. And then the weight you said to carry, hold it down on the top, you can be creative. And I actually found like a ceramic tea strainer, and it just fits perfectly on top of my jar here, just to push everything down enough. It has little air holes on it. And so cool. Okay, so now I'm going to put this where, for how long do I need to do anything with it?
So ideally, you're going to want to ferment it in temperatures about 50 to 65 degrees, but that's again kind of the art of it. If it's hotter when you're fermenting, it's going to ferment quicker. So you just want to check it more often. And if it's colder, it might slow down to the pace where it's not really fermenting at all, which is why when you have fermented vegetables in your fridge, it doesn't keep fermenting as quickly. You can keep it in there like the whole winter, which is what fermentation started as. It's a way to preserve these vegetables over the winter season. And so with 50 to 65 degrees, it really gives like the best flavor to the ferment. And then it usually takes about 7 days, and then you can just start tasting it and stop it, put it in the fridge when it tastes the way that you like it.
Awesome. So it's okay to keep tasting it along the way.
Yeah, the first couple days, I'll give you the heads up. It might be kind of smelly. So don't be concerned, that's normal. And it's going to then start to get more vinegary. Those bacteria that were in it when it was smelly are going to get outcompeted when it gets to that more acidic vinegary type of fluid. And then it's going to start smelling more and more like a real ferment.
Cool. Okay. So I'm just going to put this on my countertop for a week, and I'll check on it. And I'm going to take some pictures along the way so I can show everybody what it looks like in stages. Awesome. And then remind me, lastly, just once it's done, right now, all I do from this one is just take like a spoonful, probably like a tablespoon a day. Is there anything different that you'd recommend for the immune system this time of year? Or
I think that's great. I think consistency is really key. So whatever is going to work for a person to get some in every day. If it's a matter of like when you walk by your fridge, you think of it and you want to just take a bite, that's great. Some people who like having set meals, they'll just do like a tablespoon at every meal, which is also a good way to remember.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I tend to now just like snack on it when I get home from work, and then before dinner's done, just so I don't grab something else. And it's salty, and I'm definitely like a salt person. So awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. Tell people where they can find more information about you and what you do.
So YouTube, or you can go to my Instagram. We have some freebies on my Instagram link. So we have one that's 5 ways to improve your gut health. You can go there, download it, and just learn more about functional nutrition for gut health. And then I also want to highlight Emily's business, Anywhere Nutrition, where she's doing really awesome work with meal planning. And we were just talking about how it's, with this quarantine, it's such a great time if you want to learn more about cooking. So when you come out of it, it feels more natural to you to like know how to meal plan, know how to cook. I'd say Emily's your girl.
Thank you. And you work with people one-on-one as well as you have a support group, correct?
We do a lot of one-on-one work, and then we're going to be coming out with more options and ways to work with us. So if you follow us on Instagram, that's the best way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. I can't wait to share this with everybody who's been in their kitchen during this time.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. And we'll talk more soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.